Okay, new update on my C47 build. Give you a quick look at some of the things I'm doing with it. So I've got the internals to it already to go. I'm not gonna light this up, the control console or anything like I did with my P38, nor the radio equipment and stuff here in the middle. None of this can really be seen except straight down through the observation window at the top of the craft, so there was no point in trying to wire any of this up to have any blinking lights or anything like that. But I've put a little notch into the wall here. That's for my power lines that are going to run through here and down the wall behind this piece, to hide the magnet wire that I'm using. But the magnet wire also is approximately the right scale for conduit for this scale model anyway. So even if some of it does is partly visible, which some of it will be crossing right here, it'll be fine. So let me show you what I've done with the fuselage. So you can see how I've run the magnet wire this way. I took a piece of styrene, and it's the semicircular tubing, and all I did was channel out enough of it to make this a U-type piece of styrene to hold the wires in place there, because again, if you just look, the wires seem to be precisely the right scale for any kind of conduit that would be running through an aircraft like this along the wall. So it's by hiding it, by not hiding it, I think that's going to work out really well. Now you can see up here in the top, I've built a light tray for it. I just put the cap on the end here after running the wires and everything. Then I'll paint this green as well. I painted each of the light because these are bright white, but that was too white. So what I did was I tapped each of these with some yellow transparent Tamiya, but with all of the interior aircraft green, the lighting comes out kind of green anyway, especially having painted the tray to hold those lights. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a piece of paper, unless, well, no, I should have some thin enough styrene, and I'm going to put a diffuser across this, and maybe that will help it not be so green, maybe. But let me show you what it's going to look like. Okay, so when you put this in, you see that styrene tubing that I used up there as a conduit support, once I paint that green too, that's just going to disappear, and you can just see the wires a little bit, but then they just feed down behind this piece that you can never see down behind anyway. Okay. There's an outside chance that you could see it through the cockpit. Okay, but even that, you're going to be pushing it trying to see that. So there's that side. Let me throw the other side of the fuselage on. There we go. Okay, and I don't have the lenses in the fuselage at all. Let me hook the power up on this. And I'll show you how well it illumines now. Okay. I'll flip it on. So I did the yellow to try to turn those bright whites into warm whites, which it does do. Those are all warm whites now, but because of the green inside, it of course just looks green. And that's where we are with that. But I think if I make that that diffuser for it, I think I do have a thin enough styrene to do that. That will take out the burn spots, you know, the high points on each one of those bulbs, those LEDs in there. Now what I used is the thin LED stripping. Here's a piece of it here that I got from HDA Model Works. Okay, again, this stuff is wonderfully useful because it is so much smaller than the standard. Let me see, do I have another piece here? Let me pull it out of here so you can see the difference. So here's kind of the standard size. Again, I get this from Jerry at HDA. And now here's this. So you can see just how smaller of a profile that is and how you can just kind of sneak it in anywhere. So if you haven't ever made use of this before, I recommend you check it out. So the larger size is the 3528 LED strip, okay, and this is 5 meters of warm white. That's originally what I was going to put in the tray, but it was too wide even for the tray that I've got. But here's the smaller, and I've used a bunch of this by now, but this is the 0805 stripping, and this is also 5 meters. This is going to go a long way for you. Okay, if you just buy one package of it, and I'd recommend you get it in the white, you know, the bright white, because you can always tone it down to get whatever other kind of coloring you want on those LEDs with just using the transparent paint. But it's really helpful for getting into little spaces, and it's an ideal size for this scale, this 1/72 scale. So I'm really happy with that look. Now all I need to do is just run some lighting either in the cockpit directly, which I might do, but I think what I'll probably do is right on the back side of the co-pilot seat here, so that I can illuminate the area in down inside here. I'll probably just light that room with a single LED, and that will create enough ambient light coming through the cockpit door to illuminate the cockpit. So that's what I'm probably going to do here, is just put some lighting right into this space right there. Okay, because you can't see in there at all, except through this top dome hatch there, or through the cockpit through the open door. So if I just put some lighting on the back side there, and better yet, what will probably work even better than that, is if I put the lighting on the back side of these two consoles here and let the light kind of broadcast out that way. That should work perfectly fine. Now the question is, what do I light it with? Am I going to do a bright white? Am I going to do a warm white? I can run some of that LED stripping there, and run that right down the back side of this. All kinds of options, because then I could just pop a hole straight down the bottom here and just feed the wire directly underneath, and just glue that strip right on the back side of that, and that would broadcast more than enough light into this area here. I don't know what this area would be called, right behind the cockpit, but I think maybe that's what I'll do. Where did I put that piece that I was showing you? There it is. So I've already got a piece that's already wired up from another build I was playing around with that I didn't end up using it for. And you see that it's divided up into sections of 3, just like the larger tape is. So I can cut it right there at the 3 or the 6, and fit that right into place. And that will perfectly fit a 3. So I think what I'll do, since this one's more or less ready to go, is I'll just cut that right there. And then I can put it into place right there. And I think I will just drill that hole right now to feed the wires through, and I can show you this right away. Now the nice thing about this magnet wire is the magnet wire is so low profile as well. So let me feed that through. Of course it's going to fight me right now because, you know, I'm on camera. I'm just going to twist that to hold it together a little better. Come on, come on, come on. There we go. Okay. So that's just going to feed right down. And see, now my wire is underneath, out of the way. Let me just tape that down. If I can get this piece of tape here. Just to hold it in place for right now. Well, of course that's going to not let me twist it now because I've got that secured. All right. Okay. So let's just test that out. going to stick this back in. There it is. There's the lights for it. For the wiring, I mean. Okay, so I'm going to undo the power there. And hook it up here. Come on, come on, come on. Hey. Nice. So now you can see down in that compartment, and then you can see from the cockpit. The cockpit's going to be backlit now too. That's going to give me just enough light. Nice. I like that. Okay. Well, can you see that on the camera there? Not sure. There you go. Okay, so there's my solution. So now I'm going to just secure that. And see, I'm just leaving it bright white. Okay. So disconnect the power from it. And then I'm going to put some CA glue behind there. And there she is, in place, and she'll dry right there. And I won't need to worry about messing with that at all. So now I need to do my diffuser. I've got to have some thin styrene here. Got some corrugated. Here we go. So I've got some here. And this is what I used for the light tray. This is a piece of, where is it here? This is the polystyrene 268, the channel. Okay, and I just cut it down to fit. And so now I'm gonna just kind of replicate it here for a second. Okay. So now I've got the length marked on this. And now I will draw out that bit, and it's going to fit just inside. And actually put that over right here.